unattacked, those who fell in open areas. And the second reason is because we have a very good partnership with the United States, to which we are very thankful, and with Arab neighbors that have been also helping us to thwart these ballistic missiles that are flying over their territory. So we are determined, the countries of the Middle East, to defend ourselves from and to confront this flagrant violation of international law by the Iranian regime.
So this is the second time that a direct attack against Israel by Iran happened. Would there be any likely counter-attack by Israel, and what would be the strategy that we can see in the coming days? Well,
our Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was very clear regarding his statement that Iran will pay a price. Because, you know, we have to think about it very thoroughly. Can you have a situation in which rogue states like Iran attack with barrage of ballistic missiles in an unprecedented way in history other countries? They already have a record of doing that, not only against Israel, by the way. They fired at Saudi Arabia a few years back. So if this goes unchecked, and if the Iranians feel that they are not paying a price for this approach, the consequences will be terrible for the region. We will never be able to stabilize the region. Other rogue states might adopt similar tactics. So if nobody is going to stop Iran from doing this, believe me, this is our responsibility, because we have not only the right, but also the duty to defend our citizens.
So it is soon going to be a one-year anniversary of the horrific attack that took place on October 7. What is the current situation, and how do you assess the situation, especially after 1 year now? What, according to you, is the ground situation of the people of Israel, especially?
Well, Yushi, you know, we were surprised on the 7th of October, and the nature of these atrocious attacks that included rape and burning and killing of entire families and killing of children in front of their fathers and hostages that were taken. This shocked us on the one hand, but on the other hand, it made us very, very determined to fight the terrorists, very determined to neutralize the Hamas threat. And our government was very clear about that. So we have seen that Israel's society raised up to the cause. And we are fighting the terrorists, and we are sure we are going to prevail.
So how many hostages are still in Hamas's captivity, and can we expect a ceasefire soon?
Well, we have managed to recover 150 hostages, and we are still left with 101 hostages in the hands of the Hamas terrorists. We have tried to negotiate a deal, a path that was in 3 phases, that was adopted by our government, adopted by the United States, and also adopted by the UN Security Council. Unfortunately, Hamas refused to that path. It refused to that path because it is determined to try to survive in the Gaza Strip as the ruler there, to rearm, regroup, and attack Israel again in the future. We are not going to agree to that. So we are going to try to continue to negotiate, but at the same time, as we did in the past, we are going to continue to use military force to put pressure on them. We have managed to bring back 25 hostages with military operations, and we are patient. We know that we cannot surrender to the terrorists. That's what they want from us. They want to make us surrender and extort us with the hostages. This is not going to happen.
So yesterday the Secretary General of the United Nations was declared a persona non grata by our foreign ministry. How do you see the role of the United Nations being played in this 1 year of the conflict?
Well, Yushi, it was infuriating to see the statement of the UN Security or the UN Secretary General immediately after the barrage. Because when such a crime is being committed, such a flagrant violation of international law is committed, you expect from the person in charge at the UN that actually has a role in keeping peace and stability in the world to make a strong statement. He failed. He failed like he failed in the past. And the sense that we had is that enough is enough. At least what we have seen following our statement is that finally he declared that the barrage is something that has to be condemned. But it required our intervention. and it's a pity. We want the UN to play a positive role. We know that there are agencies of the UN that contribute to the world. But when you have a UN system that is constantly appointing people that are rigged against Israel and write rigged reports against Israel, and when you have a UN agency, UNRWA, that was built in 1948 just to perpetuate the conflict between Israel and the Palestinians, they are constantly trying to educate the entire Palestinian population that Israel is not legitimate, that they should go back and actually annul the results of the war in 1948. And they are paying terrorists. We just saw less than a week ago that a leading terrorist, the leader of Hamas in Lebanon, was the person in charge of educating 39,000 children with a salary of UNRWA. He was paid by the UN, a terrorist. This has to stop if we want the UN to have an efficient role in our region.
So recently Prime Minister Modi also spoke to your Prime Minister where he said that terrorism has no place in the world. He was also notably one of the first leaders who condemned the terrorist attack on October 7. How do you see that?
Well, we are very encouraged by the approach of the Indian government, especially the approach of Prime Minister Modi. We are thankful for that. We think that we have to have leaders like him that have conviction, that are strong against this threat on humanity.
So Prime Minister Modi has also said that India is committed to supporting efforts for an early restoration of peace and stability. You know that India has good ties with both Iran and Israel. What role do you think that India can play when it comes to resolving the conflict?
Well, it's up to India to decide what role they want to have. I think that we are going to continue to engage with the Indian government. In many ways, we are engaging in order to promote peace and stability in our region. We are working together in many fields, including in the connectivity field, and we sense that if we are successful in winning our war on terror, not only Israel, but all the countries of the region, and also India and Europe and the United States will be able to enjoy connectivity projects between Asia and Europe that pass through a corridor of stability in the Middle East.
So there has been also calls by Israel to ban Hamas, designate Hamas as a terrorist organization in India. Have you heard anything back from India in that context?
Well, we have heard a very strong statement from the Prime Minister of India. Yes, we have an expectation, of course, that all the terrorist organizations will be designated. Hamas, Hezbollah, the Iran Revolutionary Guards. These are the main instigators of terror and instability, not only against Israel, but against the entire region. In Lebanon, which was taken hostage basically by Hezbollah, in Syria, that is full of Iranian militias and Hezbollah, in Iraq, that is destabilized by Shiite militias, in Yemen. And all these forces are being assisted with financial assistance, with advanced weapons, with the technologies to produce these weapons. This has to stop if we want to achieve peace in our region.
So how concerning the current situation is for Indians in West Asia? Has India reached out to you for any evacuation plans for its citizens?
Well, we are all the time in contact with the Indian government. We are keeping all Indian citizens in safety and out of harm's way. And every problem we have dealt with basically brought to a solution. Right now, I don't see any Indians in danger in the state of Israel.
So how do you assess the widening of this conflict, increasing the trade disruptions as Hezbollah share close ties with Houthis rebel in Yemen? We have seen in the past how they have attacked ships traversing the Red Sea route. So how do you think this is going to have an impact on the trade?
Well, you know, Israel tried to keep confined to the Gaza Strip to, deal with the attack that we suffered on the 7th of October. Unfortunately, there are Iranian proxies that are trying to escalate and widen the conflict. Both Hezbollah, which we are dealing with, we have taken out their leadership, and we are now cleaning the south of Lebanon out of Hezbollah infrastructure that is threatening us, so we can send our people back home. We are also dealing with the Houthis. It took us some time, but we have retaliated, and I think it's also a role for other powers to signal to the Houthis that this is completely unacceptable and it has to stop. So if we see more resolution, more resolve from the international community against the Houthis, maybe we will reach a result there as well.
Sir, you mentioned about the proxies like the Hamas and Hezbollah. We have seen major defeats in the past, like the killing of Nasrallah and Ismail Haniyeh. Do you think this would weaken the group's capability of attacking Israel and would lower the morale of Iran in attacking?
Absolutely. Take a look at what happened in the last year. Before the 7th of October, the Iranians had a powerful proxy in the Gaza Strip. That is non-existent anymore. They had an even more powerful proxy in Lebanon that was projecting power, not only in Lebanon itself, but also in Syria, in Iraq, and in other places. That proxy is severely damaged. The Iranians have to think very carefully if they want to continue with that, because they will find themselves in a situation in which they will be debilitated in a way that might put their mere existence in danger. So if they don't want to stop now, they will pay a price, exactly as our Prime Minister said.
Right. So I would ask you to speak more about the importance of allies in the war. Like you have the United States. We also know that reportedly China and Moscow are in support of Iran. So China has also hinted at playing a role of a mediator when it comes to resolving this conflict. How important and crucial the allies are in this war?
Well, I think that we are very much connected with the United States, and we are thankful for their assistance. The alliance between Israel and the United States is crucial. We are fighting this war by ourselves, with our own soldiers, but we are getting a lot of support from the United States, both politically, in arms supplies, and also in forces that are being deployed in the region in order to deter Iran and other players. That is very important to us. We have other partners in the region, our neighbors, with whom we have made peace, that haven't disconnected their diplomatic relations with us, and actually we are doing a lot together in order to cope with this situation. Now, I haven't seen, quite frankly, that the Chinese or the Russians are actually supporting Iran the way the United States is supporting Israel. And that is a good thing. At the end of the day, I think that also China and Russia understand how dangerous this precarious approach of Iran is. And therefore, although they might be giving some political backing from time to time, they understand that what Iran is doing is completely unacceptable, even if they don't say it. And therefore, we have to embrace the moment. We have to show this rogue state that there are some actions that are not acceptable. As much as we are successful diplomatically, we can refrain from taking more military action in the future.
U.S. President Joe Biden, he has said yesterday that he opposed the Israel's attempt of attacking Iran's nuclear oil facilities. I mean, there were reports that Israel may attack Iran's nuclear and oil facilities, to which Joe Biden said that he would oppose that, and he asked the Jewish nation to act proportionately. How do you see such statement?
Well, the United States has its own considerations. We, of course, will have to take them into account, but Ayushi, you have to understand, our leadership has responsibility over our citizens, and we have to do what we have to do in order to defend ourselves. We have the resolve and the conviction to do it, and we will do it.
So just last question, when can we expect peace in the West Asia region? According to you, you have seen the conflict going on for a year. So when can we expect peace in the region? Well,
we are going to have peace in the region in the moment that these genocidal terrorists will decide to stop attacking us. And then we will have peace. It's very clear. If they lay down their arms, there will be peace. If Israel lays down their arms, it will be exterminated. This is the difference. Because we don't have a genocidal agenda against our neighbors. We just want to live in peace. It's these radicals, not all the peoples, but by the way, the people of Iran is against this policy of spending billions and billions of dollars in order to wage this war. And the peoples in the Arab world also want prosperity and stability. So we have to make the coalition with those who want stability, and only in this way we will be able to achieve peace.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.